Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're looking at the Citizen Promaster Dive BN0231-01L. Here's the hang tag for the watch right here, and this watch was kindly lent in by Saltzman's Watches. So if you go check out their Instagram and website, I greatly appreciate it. I'll leave a link in the description below. I'll also leave a link to the Citizen website for this watch. This is the blue colorway. Looks like they also offer it with a bezel insert and black dial, and also they have one that is totally blacked out, and that one comes in a special case with the flashlight, so it looks pretty cool, but that is $100 more than this one. Speaking of the price, this one is $475 MSRP, and if you use the WTW30 code, you can get 30% off any in-stock Citizen watch at Saltzman's, so I'll leave that code in the description as well. So this watch is inspired, or was inspired, by the Orca whale. You have the elliptical indices and also the rounded protrusions on the bezel here, and also there is an orca on the back, but I have not actually seen this watch referred to as the Orca any of the Citizen websites or anything like that. So, but yeah, it looks cool. You can definitely see where they get the styling from with the curvature of the markings on the Orca whale and also the shape of the whale itself. And then you can read the case back there if you like to. Yeah, so one thing that I've always seen on the EcoDrive watches, or EcoDrive, however you want to pronounce it, is they have that service center repair only. So yes, this is powered by the EcoDrive movement. The particular movement is the E168, and from what I can find, you can leave it in a drawer or without sunlight for about 6 months or 180 days. Also, you may notice that this is an actual divers rated 200 meter watch. It is ISO certified, or it meets the ISO standards. Here's a closer look at the watch. It's a fun watch. I like the way that it looks. The overall package, it's a little bit larger of a watch, but it wouldn't necessarily be an everyday watch for me. But I think it'd be a fun watch to wear on the weekends, or at the beach, or if you scuba dive, it'd be awesome for that. I have not looked at the Lume specifically. It's been on the table here for other videos. I kind of glanced at it, but the Lume looks like it's pretty good, and then the indices are nice and large as well. These appear to be applied indices, and then of course Citizen, EcoDrive, and other information is printed on here. It does have a domed mineral crystal, kind of at certain angles, or maybe it's just getting surrounding light, it kind of looks like the dial's dirty, but it's just the way that the dome is and the reflection bouncing off of that. But I really like this bezel insert. I'm not sure how they did this, but it has a nice kind of color pop to it with the blue, and then it's also dished and curved in. Let's see if I can show you that if I angle it. And then they had to have cut it to fit within all these protrusions, because these stainless steel protrusions appear to be part of the bezel. So very neat how they did that. Also, someone else pointed out in my unboxing that these kind of line up with the lugs. So it has a cool look to it right there. You can see kind of a continuation of that lug pattern there. So yes, as I mentioned, it is ISO compliant, and you see that it says Divers 200. If you have another watch that just says 200 meters, it's not really rated to that 200 meter. Actually, I have my Citizen Nighthawk here, but you can see it just says water resistant 200, so this is not an actual diver 200 watch. I've had this watch for 15 years at least now. It's kind of got me back into the hobby. But yeah, anyway, this thing has actually died on me. Not died, but the hands have stopped quite a few times because I don't leave it out in the sunlight enough. So it's still working. So yeah, blue dial, blue bezel with the domed mineral crystal. The Lume, the specific Lume formula, they don't indicate. It just says superior Lume. I kind of laughed at that. So this has superior Lume. I guess we'll test that out here in a little bit because I'll compare it to my SKX009, which does have very good Lume. And also you notice that does also say Divers 200 on the dial there. Here's a quick look at them side by side for a size comparison. Yeah, so I mentioned again, this does have the E168 EcoDrive movement. I didn't know if it says that on the back or not. This is EcoDrive, stainless steel. Where does it say made in where? No, it doesn't say. Help if I could focus on here. Magnetic resistance, Japanese movement. Okay, so it doesn't say where it's made. I thought I saw that. I was mistaken. And again, Divers watch, 200 meter. Okay, so it does actually have the movement model on there, right there. E168, so that is the movement number. It does of course have a screwed down sign crown, and it does have the same logo here actually as my Nighthawk. Yep, so Nighthawk has that on the crown as well. So I don't know when they started using that. You know, when I first bought this watch, I thought it was because of the Nighthawk they were using that symbol, but no. So anyway, put that back over there. The strap is cool on this too. The strap is super long. Let me zoom out. See, do I have another? Yeah, you can see it's off the screen. So just comparing it to my Clockwork Synergy strap here on my Islander. Looks a little bit longer than that. It has a bunch of adjustment holes on here. Let's compare it next to another dive watch, an actual dive watch. This one's rated to 1,000 meters. So yeah, the strap's even longer than that one. Here, I'll give you a quick look at these side by side. Actually, you know, I think I'll include this one in with the Lume. This has amazing Lume. And I think this one's a little bit larger actually. The dark shroud, the black shroud kind of hides the width of it, but this one's a little bit wider than that watch. This is a 46 millimeter case and a 45 millimeter bezel. So this is a blue polyurethane strap, and the end of it here mimics an Orca fin. Hopefully you can see it. I think it looks better on your screen than on my screen here, but it has a little bit of a ridge in there, a little bit of a hump too. So kind of a neat feature. Now let me zoom in on this dial more, take a look at that, and then I'll get this on wrist. Then we'll check out the Lume. Oh yeah, it does have a date there, of course. You probably noticed that. And it's pretty well centered in that date window. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to that second hand if it was hitting all the marks. I really don't pay too much attention to that. And then I like the pop of red on that minute hand, and also there's a pop of red up here on the Lume pip. You can see it has 5, 10, 15, and 20 there in red as well. Yeah, it's a cool watch. It's a fun watch for sure. Okay, let me zoom out. Okay, lug to lug, it's not really lugs per se, but I did measure it. 49 millimeter here. As I mentioned, the case is 46. The bezel is 45, but just like the Tuna, it wears very well on wrist despite the large size. 14.6 thick, so it is definitely a thick watch. And that's measured to the dome there. This is right off the Citizen website. The measurement between the lugs here is apparently it's exactly 14.18 millimeter. And also something else I didn't notice, point out, is there's a ridge here as well, which kind of mimics the Orca's spine, I would say, going along its back there. They have that kind of a shape to it there. So very cool. Also, another thing I like about this watch is it has the polyurethane keepers, much better than a metal keeper. The buckle is a bit large, but you know, that's fine. We put it on wrist here in a moment. Like I said, the strap is super long, so it comes all the way back around on my small wrist. And the watch weighs in at 119 grams. And finally, the crown size is 5.9 millimeter. It's a little small, really. I think it'd be a little better served with a larger crown like this. This is a 7 millimeter crown, but then again, this is a quartz watch, solar powered watch, so you're really never going to use the crown. Well, you're not going to use it that much. You'll just use it to change the date basically, and then maybe for daylight savings or time zone changes. All right, let me get this on wrist. So yeah, plenty of strap here. I mean, geez, probably fit like a 10-inch wrist or something. 9-inch for sure. I can really cinch this down. That's pretty good right there. This keeper is held in. It has these little nubs on the other strap to retain that, or hold it in place, I should say. And that's about as high up as I can get the keeper, and it's just high enough. So yeah, it sits right in there, and that's not going to come out because it has this nub on here as well, so it's held in place very well. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it, and it really helps me out as well. Bezel action feels fine too. I mean, no back play, and it just goes right into place. The 60 click. Maybe it feels, I don't know. I was going to say it feels kind of a little bit gritty, but not really. It's a nice solid bezel action. Now, one thing about the indices, they are fun to look at. They're different, but you can't totally exactly tell where you are precisely because the indices are so large. I mean, it covers, I think, 5 minutes right there. So it's a little more precise. But it's a cool looking watch. No problem with telling the time on it, that's for sure. All right, let's pause the video and take a look at the Lume here. Looking forward to this part. One more thing I want to point out, I just kind of noticed it myself, is it does have a Lume pip on the counterbalance and also up here on the second hand. I've never seen that before on a watch. So that's a pretty neat detail as well. Okay, so we have the Orca on the left here and my SKX 009 on the right here. Just holding him up by hand because the strap on the Orca, I can't lay it flat on the table. Yeah, I would say the Orca does have some superior Lume applied here. It's definitely brighter than the SKX, a little bit different color as well. It's a bit of a bluish Lume, but then the Lume pip is a little bit more of a greenish color. Actually, the hands are a little bit more green as well. So yeah, I'd say it's definitely brighter than the SKX. Let's bring in the Tuna. Yeah, I would say the Tuna has a beat. The Tuna is just crazy Lume. I think this is probably the best Lume watch I have in my collection as far as brightness. I have other watches with more Lume applied all over the watch, but this one's, I would say this is superior to the Citizen, but again, I would say Tunas are probably twice the price, and this one's probably 4 times the price, but anyway, here's the look at the Lume. That will conclude this video. You know, I'm just looking at the bezel on the Orca. That, okay, it's not Lume, it's just kind of catching some of the ambient light here in the studio. But as I was saying, as always, I appreciate your time and I appreciate you watching.